Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to What She Said. It's going to be a great podcast. Lots happening. If you keep up with the post on YouTube, you saw me post. I asked the question: did y'all hear about the latest? What was I talking about? The scout, I guess, from the Denver Broncos that Coach Prime had to tell, stay in your lane, get back, get back. That was interesting. And one person posted right after when it was caught on camera. Oh, unfortunately, Coach Prime gonna get some flack for this. And I said, yeah, kind of like when he went fishing and had a firearm on his boat. And there was a reporter who tried to draw a straight line to Coach Prime having a firearm on his fishing boat and gang activity. To try to draw a straight line to gang activity from having a firearm on your fishing boat. I was like, I guess he's never been fishing. Now, if you've been around water, you know reptiles live in water, crocodiles, alligators, water moccasins. These are reasons I don't put my feet or any part of my anatomy in water where I can't see my feet or my hands because of the sea creatures. Water moccasins for sure, and alligators and crocodiles. So, snakes, all of those sorts of things, which is why he had a firearm. But it was amazing that a reporter, someone who's supposed to be educated, could try to make a correlation or draw the line from gang activity to having a firearm on your boat. So there was only one. There was only one comment that was like, oh no, Coach Prime shouldn't have said that. So the video is circulating, and essentially Coach Prime was walking by checking on all of the guys. And there was a group of guys getting ready to run the 40, and a scout came by. Now, a scout is supposed to scout talent. There's scout, there's coach. And then there's different levels of coaches, player development coaches, it's all kind of coaches, right? But there was this one particular scout who was trying to instruct Colorado players on the proper form that they should be using at the showcase for the 40-yard dash. Now, our players have been practicing for months on the 40-yard dash. So the overwhelming consensus was you don't change your form at the combine or the showcase or at pro day. And my question was, why is a scout, not a coach, and remember, not anybody from CU, why is a scout trying to instruct Colorado players on technique for the 40? So Coach Prime came by and said, no, don't listen to him. Y'all do what we taught you. Do what you're supposed to do. Because, these guys are already nervous. You've had it ingrained in you. We saw Coach Swayze working with Shiloh talking about his form. Imagine working with Coach Swayze for months and you get ready to run the 40, and a scout from a team that you might want to get drafted by walks by and tells you, no, you're doing it wrong. You need to run the 40 like this. Excuse me? Now, what do you do again? So Coach Prime was right to tell his guys, no, don't listen to that. Stick to what we taught you. Stick to what you know. So our guys did well on the 40, but that's what was circulating today until that story was eclipsed by Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders patting the ball. Patting, just patting the ball. So we're going to talk about that today. I have a video for you. It's amazing to me that this has turned into a thing on Threads. I told y'all where the conversation continues. I guess it was this defensive back was trying to say that, Shedeur patting the ball was a mistake. It's not something you should do, etc. Right? And another person went and looked up this guy and because this guy was like, oh, I'm gonna make sure we get to him, this, that, and the other. And just a random person on Threads a random Threads user, looked up the DB and saw that he had like a 53 rating out of 100. And he was like, no, you're not going to be doing anything. And it was just hilarious. And I laughed. But the media took the story once Darius Slay, who just won the Super Bowl with Philadelphia and was just recently, I believe, traded to Pittsburgh. Darius Slay commented that Shedeur Sanders patting the ball is nothing. It's not like, he said basically for people who are saying that Shedeur patting the ball is going to basically give away something about the game. He said if that's the case, most of y'all would have 8 picks a season or a game. Facts, because they're trying to say that patting the ball is the only thing that Shedeur does. So it's amazing to me. Shedeur Sanders, it's almost comical at this point. As Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco in particular, Ocho Cinco called it nitpicking. And I was proud of Ocho for standing up for Shedeur. I was proud of Shannon for standing up. They actually have a whole segment talking about defending Shedeur against the haters. And for the most part, we're saying haters, but we're talking about the media. We're talking about the media. And it was hilarious to me. I said, Shedeur Sanders really lives rent-free in these people's heads. And on Threads, it was comment after comment saying, I have never seen a draft prospect get this much hate and scrutiny and nitpicking. And, people are starting to call it out, something that I've been talking about. And it's starting to get traction that he is unfairly being targeted. And I don't even know what to make of it. Some people were like, okay, it's now sickening that y'all are trying to degrade him for clicks. I told you, I don't think it's that. So it's almost comical at this point. I saw an ad for Shedeur. He's getting ready to do Draft House. I talked about that. The date it airs is April 14th. Now, it's produced by Overtime Sports, so you'll probably have to go to one of their platforms and look at their accounts to see how to watch it. But I believe they might have their own channel. Definitely on YouTube. But it's called Draft House, and it's April 14th. I heard Shedeur say, I'm getting ready to change my life. This is the last week with my phone. Now, that was filmed probably a couple of days ago. So my prayer, it has been answered. He's going to turn his phone off until the draft. Thank you. That's what you should do. To be honest with you, it's the smart move to make. And before we get into this video about Shedeur and, his training with Tom Brady, patting the ball is something numerous quarterbacks have done, from Russell Wilson to Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. The list goes on, and they're all the GOATs, right? I said, so what has happened is what was meant to be negative against Shedeur, somebody thinking that, I'm finding something wrong with his game. I'm like, if y'all saying he already not the best quarterback, why is he the only quarterback y'all are talking about? See, that's how you know. And it's amazing to me that people really thought, I found something to negate his draft stock. I'm telling you, if he falls in the draft, he's just going to a better team. If he goes to Pittsburgh, what you think going to happen? The same thing that happened at Jackson State, the same thing that happened at Colorado. They're going to get to the next level. That's the beauty of Shedeur going anywhere in the draft. If he goes to one of the worst teams, be it the Titans, be it the Browns, barring any front office incompetence, he's going to change the franchise just like he did at Jackson State, just like he did at Colorado. So if he goes to a bad team, you already know the outcome. If he goes to a good team, he probably going to get to the Super Bowl. Wouldn't surprise me, depending on where he goes. Maybe it's him, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, and Jalen Hurts vying for it. I don't know. I don't know. Justin Fields, I saw him walking into the first day of offseason for the Jets looking sharp. I think he feels a sense of rejuvenation, and he's excited. So throw him into the mix. So, a lot of good came from what Ocho called nitpicking. I mean, that's what it was. But I said Shedeur is really living rent-free in these people's heads. And for a DB to expose himself and not understand that other quarterbacks pat the ball, for Darius Slay to come and put him on blast. He was like, for somebody that gives up digs on like 38 or whatever, he's like, you're not going to be doing anything different. He said, no, other quarterbacks do this. So then, of course, the media got a hold to the story. It went from social media to big box channels. It was like they latched onto it. And they were like, well, what do you make of this? And then somebody was like, some lady was like, oh, I think there's something he needs to fix. I was like, okay. So I was like, let me go find some footage of who Shedeur has learned from. Now, what you're looking at is from 2020. We're in 2025. Okay, so 5 years ago, Shedeur Sanders, everybody knows Shedeur Sanders was a part of Tom Brady's company. At one point, it's like he was endorsed by Tom Brady, learned from Tom Brady, mentored by Tom Brady. So it's not a coincidence that Tom Brady pats the ball. It's not a coincidence that Shedeur pats the ball. It's not a coincidence that the greats pat the ball. So here we are, 2020. Shedeur Sanders and Tom Brady are working out. And I think some people, this irks them. You know, they don't want to hear Shedeur's name in the same category with Tom Brady because they're like, oh, he hasn't earned it yet. I'm like, when you learn from the best, it's highly likely if you're disciplined, you're going to emulate the best. Am I right? So here we are holding the ball. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. Now, what exactly is happening here? Shedeur's in a stance. Tom Brady's telling him how to stand. He's holding the ball. And as analysts with common sense pointed out, what quarterback have you seen get the ball with two hands, hold it with one without securing it? There were people who thought and said, and rightfully so to understand, oh, he's patting the ball to make sure it's secure in his hand before he throws it. Another set of people felt like, no, that's a timing thing. And then I looked it up. It's called a pre-snap routine. And it's pretty routine. So I had fun with this one. I wasn't upset by this one. What it did was, even though like yesterday it was just annoying to be at this point, today is comical. And maybe it's comical because I know Shedeur is turning off his phone. I know he's doing what he does sometimes before big games at CU, turns his phone off. That's not a new routine for him. Neither is the pre-snap routine. And he didn't invent it. And it's not anything that needs to be fixed. Once again, these big box channels latching on to conversation on social media. It was given, this is an A and B conversation. Dear big box media, see your way out. You didn't even bother to read all of the commentary, for the most part, on different sides to understand that all of the greats pat the ball. That Shedeur Sanders worked out with Tom Brady. And just right here in this picture, he's getting instruction from Tom Brady with the ball in his hand. I wonder where he got it from. So again, the conversation started on social media. Big Box Sports tried to pick it up and fumbled it, saying Shedeur needs to fix that. That could be an amateur problem. What? So on Twitter, which I'm not on, but I still saw the comments, different people were listing all of the quarterbacks who pat the ball. Just name a legendary quarterback. Okay. You know, people talked about everything. So what's starting to happen now is more and more people are coming out to defend Shedeur, rightfully so. It's about time. And, you know, you have people comparing Shedeur to Joe Burrows and Peyton Manning. And then in this scenario, you have people comparing Shedeur Sanders. I heard it with my own two ears. Joe Montana. Now, Joe Montana is a legend in football. If you don't know, look it up. In fact, I think he just might have become part ownership in the San Francisco 49ers. So Shedeur's name has already been in conversation with Peyton Manning, Joe Burrows, Joe Montana. You know, so whether is he a dual threat quarterback? Is he a pure pocket passer? Is his arm this, that, and the other? In every scenario, people are now pointing out Well, go watch the Baylor game if you think he can't move and throw. His mobility is an issue. Go look at his stats and see he's the most, as they said today on Shannon Sharp's nightcap with Unc and Ocho. He's not just accurate, he's insanely accurate. And one of the things they pointed out that I liked was they talked about the difference between college and the NFL and what makes Shedeur such a prize. He can dial it in with tight coverage. How many times have we seen Travis catch a ball in tight coverage? Numerous, which is why I say he need to be a wide receiver. And we're going to talk about some shots that might have been fired at Travis in a minute. Remind me to come back to Kobe Bryant that plays for Kansas. Remind me to come back to that. So now everybody's starting to realize what I've been saying, whether they heard me say it or not, is true. This young man is being unfairly targeted. There's never been a draft prospect to get dragged like this. Some people said Lamar Jackson. I'm like, well, that's true. They pointed out CJ Stroud. I didn't see that. Not that it's not true. CJ Stroud, and they named some other people. Now, Lamar Jackson for sure. I definitely can attest to that. I mean, even it was actually Coach Prime that was the one kind of that interviewed him when he was still waiting to be drafted, number 32 in the first round. Of all people for Lamar Jackson to be interviewed by, it was Deion Sanders, Shedeur's dad. And I'm sure Coach Prime has talked to Shedeur and said, look, you see how great Lamar Jackson is? Maybe you were too young to know, but look at how he was treated. And he didn't let it bother him, and he went on. He stood firm on what he wanted to do, play quarterback, and he went on. He's going on to become one of the greats. I'm sure Coach Prime has had those conversations with Shedeur. I'm so happy he's turning his phone off. So what is happening is the negativity is rolling like a tumbleweed. We done went from a weak arm to now, after the showcase, you can't say that anymore. So now we're patting the ball. And they think he invented patting the ball. And instead of doing research to know that the great legendary QBs in the league, something I know from a quick Google search, the great legendary QBs pat the ball. Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. And I'm like, when I heard Tom Brady name, I was like, Shedeur worked out with Tom Brady. I wonder where he get it from. Maybe he did it in high school, but the point is Tom Brady didn't tell him stop it, because Shedeur is not the only one. He learned from the greats. See, they don't want to admit this young man has been tutored by the best. They don't want to look at it like that, because then if you remind people that Tom Brady's his mentor, Tom Brady worked out with him, Shedeur was mentored by Tom Brady, then they're not gonna have nothing to say. So it's now comical, and I'm so happy Shedeur has turned off his phone, because today he invented patting the football in a pre-snap routine that many legends have done. They just giving him so much credit. I love it, because that means he's living rent-free in their heads. This young man owns the media right now, and he's not even trying. He owns the media, him and his dad. And I didn't know which story was going to get the most traction. I thought it was going to be the one with Coach Prime telling the players, don't listen to him, keep doing what we taught you. I thought that one was it was getting a little traction, but then Shedeur just came along, and they gave him credit for inventing patting the ball. I mean, what do I know? So April 14th, Draft House, check it out. Shedeur's on there with Jackson Dart and Ashton Jeanty. I saw a little bit of their interviews. I think it'll be great. So, that's probably something we're going to look into and try to watch if we can. So let me see who's in the chat. It says, we have quite a few people here. Okay, y'all, hit the like button. 18 people, hit the like button for me. Hit the like button. Let's see. D. Johnson, it says, scouts trying to make Colorado players look bad and mess up. Yes, that is what different people pointed to on Threads. That, he trying to make them nervous. He's trying to take them out of the technique that they learned at the last minute. And I'm telling you, 98.5% of the people said that, dude, you are a scout. You are out of pocket. This is not your job. and timing couldn't be worse. And I'm like, if you've been right there in Denver all this time, why you didn't reach out to some of the players well before the combine and say, hey, and yeah, I'm at the showcase, I'm at the combine too. So my point is, if the combine was just last month, you've been in Denver all this time, you couldn't reach out to the players and give them some instruction? Because that wasn't your goal. The point is, he might be eager. Maybe he wants to be a player development coach. I don't know what makes anybody think that on the day of a CU Pro Day, NFL Showcase, you should be trying to get me to change my form. So Coach Prime was right. No, don't listen to him. Y'all do what we taught you. Hey, Lisa, how you doing? How you doing? Hey, Gracie. It said the media just want to have something to talk about. He's not thinking about the haters. He sure isn't, Lisa. He has turned off his phone. And for that, I am elated. So they could just talk to the wall. One of the things that they were talking about on Draft House is the mental toughness you have to have in order to be good at this game. And we know Shedeur is mentally tough and in the game. And then, out the game, we don't really see too many people messing with him. We really don't. But what I would say, the negativity hurled at him, people are now starting to defend it. And I'm happy to see, because what did I say? When you see the negativity against Shedeur, call it out. I'm starting to see people call it out. Not that they heard what I said. The point is, it's happening. Again, from my lips to God's ears. That's how I look at it. Turned off his phone, that people are calling out the negativity. And now you have people like Shannon Sharp and Ocho. And I'm sure at some point Cam Newton will get on there too and defend Shedeur, especially against the patting, P-A-T-T-I-N-G of the ball that the legends do. And what did Shedeur do? He learned from a legend. It shows that some people don't really know much about football. Thank you, Lisa. And imagine being, what I said yesterday, I'm going to go ahead on and apply to one of these networks. I'm going to just do it. I'm going to just do it. Because, see, I actually love the sport of football. I actually watch it. I actually do research. So the last thing I would ever do is stand in front of a television audience with a microphone and my peers and say, after CU Showcase, that Travis Hunter didn't work out. I would never do that. And I would never, ever, ever say in front of a television audience that Shedeur patting the ball is something he needs to fix, and it shows that he's an amateur. I would never embarrass myself that way. I would never do that. So I'm thinking to myself, I might have a shot at this. I love my podcast. But, for part-time, I might just go ahead and need to lend my services, because I just don't understand when Google is free and this is their line of work, that you would think if you are at work, then research is a part of it. So what exactly are y'all doing when y'all are on the clock? That's what I want to know. So shout out to Shedeur. Turn your phone off, boo. I'm so glad that you did that. It said, I'm so tired of these wannabe critics always giving their opinion. Their opinions are just like them, inconsequential. Yep, Gracie. And I'm so happy people calling it out. It says, yes, he's being targeted. Since that man said the arrogant, brash comment, right? The same comment. I started to get that video. I still might get it before we get to the draft. The video of Tiger Woods, I told y'all I was gonna post. I'm pretty sure it's still on my phone. And Tiger was young, getting ready to play in the Masters, and he was asked, did he think he could win? And he said, if he practices and he's diligent for 3 or 4 more days, I think I could win. You asked me a question, I answered it, and then you called that young man cocky. And the look on Tiger's face, that's why I said they got to Tiger Woods. Shedeur Sanders has never looked like a deer in the headlights when someone has asked him that way. But to be fair, Tiger was much younger. Much younger. And he didn't have Coach Prime as a father and Pilar Sanders as a mother. Let's be clear, we might not see Pilar Sanders. But, I'm pretty sure she coaches her son on how to deal with the media, as these kids have been in the spotlight since they were little bitty. So shout out to Shedeur Sanders for turning your phone off. Again, part of his pre-game routine, now it's his pre-draft routine, and patting the ball, P-A-T-T-I-N-G, is a well-known pre-snap routine in the NFL for anybody that didn't know. All right. And it says, so yeah, he's being targeted. It said, personally, I'm sick of them doing my boy Shedeur like this. Still hoping the Raiders take him. You know, I was working on the video today. I had on a New Orleans t-shirt. I was going to wear it. And I was working on this, doing my research, right? I don't need to do air quotes, doing my due diligence, doing what you do before you speak on a topic. I even went back and made sure I knew what year this was because I was speculating. I said, I think it was. I said, you know what? Don't think. Because see, I don't do that. I'm like, no, we're not thinking. Go back and look it up. It said it was like June 14th, 2020. I'm like, oh, that was the right when we got to the swing of the pandemic. So due diligence. I think some other people just lazy. I think they just lazy and they taking a situation for granted. That's the only reason why you make those kind of gross errors, because you're lazy and you don't do the work and you're resting on your laurels and you figure, oh, I could just wing it. And what's crazy is so many of them just trying to wing it. It's embarrassing. It really is. Somebody actually came on my page and said, could you please stop talking about sports? It was talking about me being a woman. I was like, I'm gonna just remove your comment. I'm not gonna even reply to it because you clearly haven't watched this page. Of all people, I'm like, you might want to direct your attention to, and Molly, she does a good job, so I'm not gonna say anything about her. But these other little people out here, just lazy. It says some people don't realize Shedeur play like Tom Brady because Brady trained him into the QB he is today. Yet Prime molded him into being a star, right? And I bet you 9 out of 10 times or 10 racks, all those people talking about Shedeur didn't know Coach Prime himself was a quarterback and called his own plays. I bet you they don't know that. They don't know anything about them. All they do is they hearing what people saying in the comments, and the people in the comments, I mean, you get one person who might say something crazy, and I don't say anything most times because, I mean, other people doing such a good job. I'm so proud. I just repost what they say because normally it will be me. But when I see people doing what needs to be done, I go ahead and let them do it, and I cheer them on. So, you know, people going in, you know, saying that he is being unfairly targeted and this, that, and the other. Like I said yesterday, I don't think this is what comes with it, because this is not what the hatred is not coming with it for everybody. All I've heard about Jackson Dart, and he's going to be on Draft House again. All the QBs out here that could be on Draft House, suddenly it's him. You see what I'm saying? He's getting a pair of skates. They cleaning his skates up for him so he can skate right into the first round over Jalen Milroe and Will Howard. And he hasn't won so much as a title or even been to a title game for the SEC. But they getting his skates ready for him. Oh, let me put him on the show with Ashton Genty and Shedeur Sanders. Why? Why not Will Howard? He won the Natty. Why not Jalen Milroe? Oh, wait, because then it'll be 3 black athletes. The top 5 right now going in the draft. Cam Ward, let's say Shedeur Sanders to Cleveland just for the sake of saying something. Let's say Travis Hunter to the Giants, right? Who's for? I think that's 1, 2. That's 1. Oh, Abdul Carter. I don't think he's going to the Patriots, but let's just say for the sake of something, Abdul Carter is 4. Who's 5? McMillan? Genty? Kobe Bryant? You see what I'm saying? In other words, so the top 5 won't be, because the top 4 surely are. Whether you want to argue all day long, if it's who's first, it really doesn't matter who's first. Who's the top 5? Who is the top 5? I've heard of Mason Graham put in there. They trying to get Genty up there. The 6th pick in the draft is who? Is it the Jets? Because I think the Saints are number 9. The Jets could take Jalen Milroe. 5 could be Ashton Genty. It could be Mason Graham. It could be McMillan. You know, My point is, it shouldn't be Jackson Dart. So I wasn't surprised to see him on overtime. I kind of understand what the strategy is with him to give him a pair of shiny skates and let him skate his way. He could, and we've talked about it in my own household. They're like, he's actually pretty decent, as a quarterback. I'm like, is he better than Milrow? Has he been to an SEC title game? Has he won a natty? Has he won anything besides, has he gone to anything besides the bowl game? And they're like, well, no. I'm like, okay, then. Okay. I believe you would be an amazing analyst. Oh, thank you, Gracie. I would actually do my work. I'm telling y'all, I'm going to find somebody that has an open. I'm going to just apply and see what happens. I work in an entirely different field. Truth be told, I'm an executive. I'm an executive. That shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody. But I like sports. And I said, as lazy as these people are, and I know me, I'm going to do my due diligence. If I show up to present anything, I have looked it up down to what the date that it occurred. But I see people all the time skating by and honestly just doing the bare minimum and showing up and using a bunch of filler words. You know what I mean? So wish me luck. I'm gonna find something. If y'all hear about something, y'all know how to email me. What she said sports at gmail.com. Y'all like, if you like Gracie, anybody, Gracie22, anybody can email me. If you like, hey, I heard that so-and-so has an opening, send it to me. Send it to me. I will put together an audition tape and I'm gonna send it to them because it's too much laziness out here. Too much laziness. It's too much laziness. And you can't hate on somebody with the wrong information. Ocho pointed it out. He said, these people are not only loud, they are wrong. So they just loud and wrong when it comes to Shedeur. He said all this is they nitpicking because they can't find something. So they keep looking. I'm like, exactly, Ocho. See, that's why I like Ocho. People get mad with him because when it comes to like NFL players, they feel like he don't hold people accountable. But when it came to Shedeur today, he was being honest. And people under the comments on Shannon's page were like, well, Ocho, we hope that you hold other people accountable that play in the NFL the way you hold in the media accountable. So, but he did a good job. So I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him. Lisa said, Coach Prime turned down a one-on-one workout with Shedeur. What happened? Coach Prime turned down a one-on-one workout with Shedeur with the Titans. When did this happen? Really? Oh, I didn't hear about that. When did this happen, Lisa? Because I heard, now I will tell you this. I said it yesterday and I'm gonna repeat it. I don't know when this is taking place, but Cleveland Browns have actually scheduled dinner with Shedeur and Travis. And the question came today was, can they get both? And I'm like, if they get 2 first-round draft picks and knowing Tennessee wants to sell their pick, let's just explore this scenario. Don't forget, I want to go to Kobe Bryant. If Cleveland gets the Tennessee Titans first pick, that means they will have what? The number 1 pick and the number 2 pick. With that being the case, and they say they have money, we already talked about this. They have money. And remember, somebody said they approved of their draft strategy. And I told y'all they've been crushing on Shedeur. And Travis' name has re-entered the conversation, even with Myles Garrett getting a good payday, a handsome payday. With Tennessee trading their number 1 pick to Cleveland, and then Cleveland had already had 11 picks to give up. Let's say they give up 3 picks to Tennessee, and Tennessee could go use them somewhere else. Is it possible that the first pick in the draft could be, say, Travis Hunter, and the second pick in the draft could be Shedeur? It don't matter who's 1 and 2. I think the pay is roughly $2 million different. And Shedeur already wealthy. So Travis could go first and get the 43 million. Shedeur get the 40. Is that possible? If they trade for Tennessee's pick and they get 1 and 2, that they could pick Shedeur and Travis? Let me know in the comments. All right. So I'm going to move on to Kobe Bryant. Let's see if I actually had a photo of him. So I was thinking, this might be shots fired. So y'all know that the NFL largely sees Travis Hunter as a cornerback, right? That is the same position that Kobe Bryant from Kansas, the one who was kind of jaw-jacking with kind of yapping with Travis. I don't know if y'all remember him, but it was all in fun. It was all in fun. So today it was said that Kobe Bryant is the best cornerback, the most dynamic cornerback. If you're the most dynamic quarterback, if you're the most dynamic, you're likely the best. Now, Travis's title is the most dynamic two-way player in college football. We know Richard Sherman referred to him as bland or said that he blended in. Today on Threads, I said he's not bland regarding Travis. I'm like, Travis Hunter is not bland, nor does he blend in. As a wide receiver, he's highly impactful. I watched some more highlights of Travis with catching touchdowns from Shedeur and how people are referring to them as the dynamic duo. So with Cleveland, maybe the dynamic duo go first and second, regardless of who first and who second. I said Shedeur got the most money, but I forgot Travis and Shedeur basically both had a $6 million valuation. It's just that Shedeur's was a tad bit higher, but they both were still in the 6 million range. Travis may have been like 6'1", 6'2", Shedeur maybe 6'4", 6'5". So maybe it's a toss-up. They flip a coin as to who goes first. Let me know if that's a possibility. So Travis Hunter won every award out there. Shedeur won some too. And the one award Travis did not win was like, he won the best DB in college football overall, but he didn't win the best cornerback, I don't think. When it came to the position, they didn't give him the award. And there was conversation if they felt like they were snubbing him because he was winning everything. I'm like, if he deserves it, give it to him, right? So enter Kobe Bryant today. The conversation, the word dynamic is now being used for Kobe Bryant to be the most dynamic cornerback in college football. And I'm like, so if Travis is the most dynamic two-way player, wide receiver and cornerback, that means he's the most dynamic wide receiver and the most dynamic cornerback. Enter Kobe Bryant. Now he's the most dynamic cornerback. And remember, that's the position that they're trying to slot Travis to. So I think it's actually genius of Travis to go and work out at the showcase as a wide receiver. Because now people are working to get Kobe in there as probably the first cornerback off the board or something like that. Which means if that's what you said Travis was, how you going to say it's Kobe Bryant all of a sudden? What changed? What changed? Y'all let me know y'all's thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. Lisa said she was there Friday with Shalimite. Yep, I did hear that. I didn't see them, but I did hear they were there too, Lisa. The Raiders. Okay, the Raiders have the 6th pick. Oh, thank you, Gretchen. Thank you, man. Welcome or welcome back. Thank you. Okay, so the Raiders have the 6th pick. Okay, all right. I don't know if the Raiders would trade up from 6 to 1 to get Shedeur. Some people think that the Browns are going to draft Shedeur at 2 and trade him to the Raiders at 6. I don't know. But we see the Browns are heavy on Shedeur. So I don't know. It said, keep your YouTube. Absolutely, D. Johnson. Because one thing about me, I need to be independent at all costs. I do. Because, I just can't fathom somebody coming to me or we sitting in a round table meeting and somebody tells me, well, Shedeur gets a lot of clicks. So we need to go ahead on and push the button in the envelope when it comes to him. See, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. I'm like, look, if you can't be positive with it, then I don't want to do it. So I might as well just keep my channel. So I can get heated right here. Y'all done see me heated when it came to Anthony Davis and Anthony Edwards, and y'all stay tuned because I'm coming with Ja Morant next because I have questions. There are questions to be answered when it comes to Ja Morant. He's talking about retiring early. But let's get back to football. Are there shots fired? Now that the media wants to crush on Kobe Bryant by giving him uh Travis's title, most dynamic cornerback in college football. Seems like shots fired to me. That's kind of how I took it. So I had to go back and then I had to think. Now, what exactly did Travis do? I'm like, he stood up for Shedeur early on. He said a couple of weeks ago, he said, yeah, they kind of are dragging Shedeur, but they was in love with him at the showcase, except for the one lady who said Travis didn't work out. I need her job. I need a gold cut for her job because clearly she didn't even watch it. She didn't even watch it. But let's see. He worked out. He was normal. I mean, the only thing I know that he did, was work out as a wide receiver. So maybe it's possible that the NFL got the memo on the day of the showcase, and maybe they will draft Travis as a two-way player or a wide receiver. And it seems like the Patriots have gone cold on him. And we talked about since Stephon Diggs had that lucrative contract to the Patriots, is it possible that the Pats are no longer interested in Travis? And I did hear that kind of was the case, that they've kind of locked up their defense, so he might go to the Giants. And the process is wherever Shedeur goes, Travis is going to the others. So that means if Shedeur goes to the Browns, Travis going to the Giants. If Travis goes to the Browns, Shedeur is going to the Giants. That's basically the latest on that. So, all right, let me check. It said hook up with the pregame show. Oh, hey Saeed, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? You never know. That might happen. That might happen because I think Big Dog Chico followed me on Instagram. And I was like, I went to his DMs and I was like, hey, because I started watching them first, to be honest. Of course, the pregame show from Jackson State, and then Big Dog Chico when they aligned, and then I watched DNVR when Uncle Neely is on there. And I don't know if he's still on there now because his show is doing well. And actually, Uncle Neely's show inspired me because Shannon Sharp used one of his clips. So I got to make sure my videos are good. Yeah, make sure y'all hit the like button and subscribe because maybe somebody will pick up one of my sound bites and one day it'll be on there and we'll just all convene online and laugh and celebrate and talk about it. But thank you for that, Saeed. Thank you. Lisa says some people don't want to see a lot of melanated brothers succeed and go higher in achieving success. Oh, I totally agree with that. And that's what a few people have started to point out on threads. What they're just now starting to get to, we've already talked about. I already said there's a pattern of who gets dragged, who gets negated. I said yesterday, the black players in the NFL, the black athletes, they have to earn it. Whereas the white QBs are given skates. Jackson Dart is being given a pair of skates. That doesn't mean he's not a good quarterback. That just means that they're pushing him to be somewhere that he didn't earn. And they're putting him over other people for the sake of racial politics. Maybe because let's see who the top 10 is supposed to be. We talked about the top 5. I mean, if I didn't want the quarterbacks to be black and now the top 5, despite me trying to tear them down, now the top 5 are black. Well, hell, just last year, the top 4 QBs were black, or the top 3. And now it's happening again with the QBs. And now it's happening with the top 5. So what does that mean? Things are changing no matter how much you try to prevent them or you try to hold on to your memories. Things are changing. And not just at the quarterback position. Now the draft, the top 5 is black. Who knows what's next? So despite you trying to hold down the number of black coaches, the number of black GMs, the QBs are not a majority. Now you're trying to play musical chairs so that things play out the way you want them to when it comes to the AFC and the NFC. Moving Russell opens the door for somebody else. I don't know why Jalen Hurts' backup had to go to Cleveland. I have no idea. Because that's going to open the door for somebody else. Let's see who. Why clear the deck and leave J.J. McCarthy on the island? Let's see who ends up there. So, as much as I hate the negativity about Shedeur, today it was blissfully amazing to see their stupidity on display, because they really thought that Shedeur invented patting the ball. And when it was discussed that this is something that quarterbacks have been doing, and they named the quarterbacks that pat the ball, they're all the GOATs. They all have won Super Bowls. Shedeur is now in the company with legendary QBs. And that conversation led to Shedeur being compared to the legend, Joe Namath. Now, that's how you take a mess and turn it into a message. And all it's doing is exposing the laziness of these so-called analysts at these stations or these channels or these networks that don't even do no work. They just collecting the check. I mean, if I own one of these networks, I'm gonna have to let a few people go. Hey, I'm gonna get me Kai Sanat, Duke Dennis, I Show Speed, hell, Tisa Tell, somebody that's that have proven that they are gonna do some work. What She Said Sports, somebody that actually does the research, watches the games, loves the sport, knows what's going on, and is passionate about it, not just collecting a check. I don't have any skates. Well, I do, but nobody gave them to me. I bought them. I earned them. So you are great on YouTube and as an analyst. Thank you. And I will be right here. Because if anybody watches my content, they're going to be like, I don't think we can have her on camera because she's going to say something. She going to keep it too real. Yep. I heard it today, Lisa. It said Coach Prime has Shedeur turn down a private workout with the Titans because he feels the Titans already have made up their mind with Cam Ward. I mean, I agree. I really was shocked when I heard that Shedeur Sanders was going to meet with the Titans again. Like, they talked to him at the Shrine Bowl. They claim, somebody said they weren't even coming to Colorado yet. They was there in droves. I don't know why they needed to come in droves for Shedeur when they knew they already had a private workout. I personally didn't feel the need. Didn't Shedeur just go to Tennessee, Regina? Didn't we talk about that? When the week after the combine, Shedeur was in Houston for a week. He was in Tennessee, and then he went to Miami. This was just about a week ago, a week or two ago after the combine. So if he was already in Tennessee, why he got to keep going back to Tennessee? And here's the thing about Tennessee. If they don't pick Cam Ward, I'm telling y'all, I won't be surprised. I just won't be surprised. I feel like Tennessee and the Giants have a little bit too much in common. Their goal is clearly not winning, because they hemmed and hawed on what to do with Will Levis, and then they entertain possibly trading for Kirk Cousins. I'm like, who? I'm like, did y'all see last season? I'm like, so if you knew that you could get Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, Ashton Genty, Abdul Carter, or Cam Ward, that's 5 people right there. That's 5 people right there. That's top 5 right there. If you knew you could get any of them, and every last one of this, I'm tired of hearing the word generational talent. If you thought you could get any of these elite players, and you fixed your mouth to say, I think I'm gonna trade my pick, you don't want to win. You either waiting for next year's draft, you don't value this year's top 5, you don't value the elite QBs, and then you want to keep interviewing people, and then the last thing we heard is you want to talk to Kirk Cousins. Go ahead. So I'm not mad at Coach Prime, and if they don't pick Cam, I will not be surprised. When James Anderson, who's a member of What She Said podcast family, when he said we are going to be so surprised as to who truly gets drafted, I agree. I think Tennessee is playing a game, and it's the same game that the Giants are playing. But see, they playing it a little different. See, the Giants decided to have somebody in their organization put out some negativity about Shedeur. Now, what people are trying to say this week about the negativity hurled at Shedeur is that, oh, this is what they do to make your draft stock fall so that you can fall to their team. I'm like, I don't hear them doing that to nobody else. I don't. Did they do that to Josh Allen? Did they drag Josh Allen to make him fall so they could get him fall from where? The top 5? So again, that is an excuse to just let racial politics live. Oh, this was come with it. For who? Because that's really what it is. It's racial politics. How else can you explain? You have not heard one platform or any content creators tell you why Jackson Dart should be in the first round. All you have heard is Jackson Dart is going to get to the first round. I'm still waiting on why. I heard why Shedeur ought to fall to the second round. I heard why Shedeur ought to fall outside the top 10, why he should slide down to 21. But I haven't heard nobody tell me and anybody else out here who likes football why Jackson Dart should be in the first round. I don't even know why he on Draft House. I mean, I kind of do. Skates. That don't mean he's not a good quarterback. Is he better than Jalen Milroe? Because if he's not, then Jalen Milroe should have been on Draft House. So that's where we are. So y'all let me know if you feel like shots was fired about Kobe Bryant now being the most dynamic cornerback in the draft and now getting some love. He been out here all this time. He was at the combine. And now all of a sudden, they want to talk about Kobe Bryant. And they want to talk about him in the same position that they have slotted Travis to. Remember, Travis is a two-way player. They chose to relegate him to a one-way player. And what was that position? Cornerback. So now you got the Heisman winner, and you want to say that this guy, who wasn't even a Heisman finalist, is the best cornerback in the draft. How the hell does that work? I know if I'm Travis, I'm like, I don't want the Heisman. They gonna take Cam over me. They talking about taking Shedeur. It's like Travis right now is getting wherever he get put is where he's going. It's like he's not free falling, but he's the most interchangeable one on the board. Is it possible that he could go with Shedeur to Cleveland? I don't know. We're gonna find out though. I'm still keep asking the question. I might put a poll out there on YouTube or Threads because I'm curious to know if that scenario will work. I might have to go find somebody who's a Browns fan. I thought we had somebody, Damon, but I think he might have been. If he's not Cleveland, he's Cincinnati. So maybe we find Damon and ask him because I think he's either a Browns or Bengals fan, but I have to find out. So I saw that with Shedeur and Travis having lunch. Yeah. It said, do you think the media will get worse against Shedeur when he gets to the NFL? Yeah. Jalen Hurts is a prime example of that. And right before this same season that they won the Super Bowl, earlier in that season, there is an article out there that says that they will never go win the Super Bowl, and Jalen Hurts is the problem. Now, y'all know when they played in the Super Bowl, even though they had just gotten Saquon Barkley, really and truly, he didn't play like, it was Jalen. So Saquon Barkley was very impactful and effective in that game against Washington. But when it came to the Super Bowl, that's why Jalen Hurts was a Super Bowl MVP. Now, don't get me wrong, defense did their damn job. Now, I'm not going to take that away from them. But I mean on offense. You would have thought it would have been Saquon, but it was Jalen Hurts. And the same season, leading up to probably going to play Washington, they were blaming Jalen for all of Philadelphia's woes. But when he won MVP, they didn't even want to give it to him. So, yes, I do. I think if they don't do it verbally, then he going to end up like Caleb Williams and sacked about 65 plus times. But Shedeur knows how to get away from that. And that's why what team he goes to matters. That's why the Giants, I just don't see it. Tennessee, I don't see it. The Saints fans and Falcons fans on Threads, not a whole lot, were going back and forth over Shedeur. Somebody said, oh, have Shedeur come to Atlanta. And a Saints fan said, nope, he coming to the Saints, baby. I was like, the Saints-Falcon rivalry. It has already started, and they are fighting over Shedeur. So it depends on where he goes. If he goes to the Vegas Raiders, I think he'll be protected. If he goes to Pittsburgh, I think he'll be protected. I think if he goes to New Orleans, I think he'll be protected. But if he goes to the Giants, I think they'll set him up because I think they playing in Russell Wilson face. So to answer your question, it depends on where he goes. The answer would be yes. The Titans, I can't say I trust it. Just the way that their team is moving right now. When I see the kind of shenanigans with the Giants and all of the indecisiveness with the Titans, I don't trust Shedeur out of those places because you can't depend on them to actually play football and trust them. You have to wonder if they have some other kind of politics happening. And we're going to have to go back to our big board where I had all the different teams and the black quarterback slotted to see, because I think I did a scenario with Cam going to the Titans and how that changes that particular conference. Because see, what's starting to happen is, people pointed out all of the best QB talent was loaded up into one conference, the conference with the Giants and Philadelphia, right? But then there's another conference, conferences at the bottom, which was could be the AFC. I don't remember. Could be the NFC. Maybe it was like where Russ was. If he was still there, it would have been 3 out of 4 teams or 3 out of 5. So things are changing. And this was the draft that was supposed to tip the tide. But you see how they do what I call stacking of these black quarterbacks. 2 here, 3 here. And people are like, well, I mean, if they're the majority, wouldn't they be stacked? Well, let me see who's stacked behind. What's his name in Minnesota? McCarthy. Let me see who's stacked behind him. See, the QB behind the starter, if the starter's black, like in Indianapolis, it's putting Anthony Richardson on the hot seat. He just got here. Why is he competing for his job? When Daniel Jones how long was he in New York? I have never bothered to look it up because I know it was a minute. I know it was a minute because I think he came out in the same draft with, may he rest in peace, Haskins. And I remember people wanted Haskins to go to the Giants. And they were like, the Giants are not going to pick Haskins because they never had a black starting quarterback. And guess what? Haskins went to Washington. And Daniel Jones went to the Giants. And he's been there ever since until they finally cut him. And they let Saquon Barkley go. And still kept Daniel Jones. So I definitely don't see Shedeur there. And I still say, depending on what they do with the number 3 pick, they are playing in Russell Wilson's face. But we're going to see. Russell Wilson has the right attitude, though. I come here, I expect to start. I'm going to be the starter. Jameis Winston hasn't said anything about starter. I think Jameis Winston knows that he's QB3 or 2. They even have another guy, DeVito. They got him. They already got 3 quarterbacks. But there are people who insist there is no way the Giants can be good with Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston. I don't know about Jameis because I don't watch him play much. I don't know how they can say that about Russ. That's why I say they're playing in his face. So we'll keep tabs on Kobe Bryant and Travis Hunter. I might try to do a little comparison of the two. Not that Travis deserves that because he won the Heisman. He is the most dynamic 2-way player and cornerback in the NFL draft than he was in college football with his class. I don't know how you win all of the awards, including best DB overall, defensive player overall, but you don't win at the corner position. So into Kobe Bryant. So we shall see. We shall see. All right, y'all. I guess we're going to get ready to get out of here. Hey, what she say? Hey, Caroline, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Glad to have you back. Hey, Nia, how about popping in on Duke the Scoop? He might be interesting. Oh, I do. I like him. I'm going to have to check these guys out. I normally follow all of them. Life and football, I follow all of them. So, yeah, I like him, too, because he's right. I feel like either he went to Auburn or something like that, but I feel like he's somewhere in this Georgia area. So, it's possible. It's possible. Exposing the truth. I'm going to be honest. It's only the white media commentators talking down on Shedeur. Yeah, thank you for exposing the truth. Yeah, facts. That's why I said this is not what comes with it. Now, when you're close to your destination and you're a believer in God like Coach Prime is, and I know I am too, the closer you get, the more hellish things can become. So that's what comes with it when you're on the way to God's promise for you. I will agree with that. But in just human sense, no, because that's not what's happening with other people. They either aren't just saying anything about the other people, but Shedeur is the only one being teared down. There were people have asked, well, why they not tearing down Cam if y'all say it's about race? I'm like, are they talking about it? They finally started talking about him. And it's so funny. It's like they trying to muster up all of the strength that they can. He's the best quarterback in the draft. Anything to keep Shedeur out that top spot. But Shedeur, I never got the feeling that he wanted to go to Nashville. I would have been happy because of the proximity to Atlanta. But he just wanted to beat his dad in the draft. So that's it. That's it. That would be great news. Oh, he is in Atlanta. Okay, thank you for Gracie, because I know Gracie watches it too. Never forget how the NFL mistreated Lamar Jackson. Yup. Heck, they did not want him to play the QB position at all. Lamar Jackson bucked the naysayers, and I think he's still paying for it. Lamar with all of his talents with 32 in the first round. Right. They were trying to teach him a lesson. And I thought I actually caught this. Somebody was talking about Shedeur, and they got on the subject of Lamar Jackson. And they said, do you know who interviewed Lamar Jackson while he was waiting to be drafted at number 32? And somebody, it was just like a little panel of maybe 3 people. And they were like, who? And they said, Deion Sanders. And somebody was like, oh, that's interesting. As if, oh, and now it'll probably be Shedeur. Shedeur's not going number 32. See, this is the problem. The teams that have issues, and I know that these players, these owners are in a fraternity. I know that they share wealth, but I could see them doing that to Shiloh. People have already said it. Because why? I told y'all what they did to Jerry Rice's son. By this time, Jerry Rice was told his son would probably go inside information, third round. He went dead ass last. Could I see them doing that to Shiloh? I don't know. Because Coach Prime is well connected. But that's not stopping his son from being trashed. But that's the media. And I even said it. Didn't Coach Prime work in the media for like 20 years on one of these networks? Yeah. So while the media is trying to use its influence, the NFL is just slightly different. Now, there are the people, the holdovers from what I call the Lamar Jackson era. There are those people. And I told y'all it was somebody from the Giants. I knew it was somebody from the Giants. Because to me, the Giants never wanted Shedeur. They were just setting, that's why I told y'all they playing a Russell Wilson face. It was a setup to, how should I say this? It was a setup before an asinine move. And then they was going to blame Shedeur for it. And when they draft Jackson Dart, they was basically going to go, well, we wanted to get Shedeur, but Coach Prime. Oh, we wanted to get Shedeur, but the QB coach said this. Oh, we wanted to get Shedeur, but he's cocky. They were going to try to blame Shedeur. Now, there were some so-called analysts who said the Giants weren't even there at the CU Pro Day. Yes, they were. It just probably wasn't 6 or 7 of them, like it was for the Browns or the Titans or etc. I do believe that the Tennessee has made up their mind as to who they're going to draft. It should be Cam Ward, but I will not be surprised if it's not. I don't know who the hell drafted Shedeur. I mean, I thought it was the Raiders, and doing the research today, I'm like, I kind of go back to it, but I think I moved away from the Raiders because of the contract that they gave Geno Smith, and I don't want them benching Shedeur for a year. Shedeur should start, right? So the Giants was not the best option. I was like, and when the Saints entered the picture, it wasn't because I'm from New Orleans. It's because I know he could start. I know he could start, and I think Kellen Moore would start him. So that's why New Orleans was exciting. Shit, he could. If Kirk Cousins is leaving, somebody else is going to end up in Atlanta. But people said Atlanta got too many needs. I know it wouldn't be Shedeur because, again, Michael Penix Jr. is getting ready to start. But there is talk of Kirk Cousins leaving. So between the Browns grabbing him, drafting him, and holding him for Vegas, I could see that. I could see that. Then there's Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh doesn't draft, they have the number 21 spot, but that doesn't mean they will sit and wait until number 21. The only reason something like that would happen, that he will fall to 21, is if it's a collaborative effort to hold him down. That's it, which is what happened to Lamar Jackson. And to this day, they trying to spin it. Ooh, we know that he's going to fall, so we just going to wait, and we're happy to get him. That's malarkey. They were trying to teach him a lesson because he told them, I do not want to switch to wide receiver. I mean, they really didn't want Lamar to be a dual threat quarterback, even though Michael Vick was the dual threat quarterback back in early 2000s. So why wouldn't they want Lamar to be a dual threat quarterback? They actually disparaged Jalen Milroe, saying, oh, he just plays and runs with his legs. There's a scout that was there. He was white. He was like, that's not true. I'm like, I know, I've seen this man run and throw balls, and it never got talked about. This man was vindicated after Alabama fired or demoted their offensive coordinator, QB coach, or whatever, because of lack of QB development and poor play calling. Nobody ever came back on these networks and talked about that. That's something I would have wanted to talk about. That's something in a roundtable meeting. What are we discussing this week? Alabama demoted their QB, so that vindicates Jalen Milroe. Yes, he had a bad game in Oklahoma, but it needs to be discussed. That's who I am. So, I don't know where Shedeur going to end up. That is the big surprise of the draft. I would hate for it to be the Giants. I don't know how. I mean, the Browns, it could work because they need help. And again, Jackson State and Colorado needed help, and he delivered. So I don't think he has a problem with going to Cleveland. Now, here's the thing about Cleveland this week. This week, Cleveland is being knocked. The only franchise to be knocked, not the Giants. As much as people need to be calling out the Giants for their incompetence, I don't know who these people are related to, but they don't want to talk about them. They might talk about Dallas and Jerry Jones and his decision making, but they keep giving the Giants a pass. But Cleveland gets the flack. So Cleveland came out and said they took a big swing and they missed with Deshaun Watson. And people came to Deshaun Watson's defense and said it wasn't just Deshaun Watson that didn't work out there. You had Baker Mayfield and it didn't work out there. And look at what he's doing now. Who that sound like? The Carolina Panthers? Because he was there too. So was Sam Darnold. And they all had to go resurrect themselves for a year and then move on and be great to great organizations. So Cleveland seems to be one of the few franchises, for whatever reason, that's being held accountable. And that's also the one that has dinner scheduled with Shedeur and Travis. So they like, I love Shedeur. We don't want him to come here because they just going to ruin his career. I'm like, I feel like that about the Giants, but nobody will say it out loud. The Giants were, they're negligent. So whoever goes to Philadelphia might be lucky because they might be QB to Jalen Hurts. Maybe. I don't know why they made that move either. That's another head scratcher. But that team was just decimated after they won the Super Bowl. People say that's typical. I'm like, to that extent? It's like they wanted to make sure they never got back again. And they want to make it hard for them to get back. But they still, I think, have a lot of core pieces. So I wish them well. But Shedeur is a toss-up where he going. It could be Vegas. It could be Cleveland. It could be Vegas by way of Cleveland. It could be Pittsburgh. It could be the Saints. I have no idea. And it has nothing to do with the negativity being hurled at him. It's because he's that in demand that all of these teams really have their names in the hat, and they're not saying it out loud. Maybe they don't want to tip their hand. I don't know if Tennessee 100% is not selling their pick, even though Shedeur canceled his visit. Either is the fact that they either getting Cam or they're going to sell that pick. I mean, you probably can't say that out loud. But at this point, the inside information is out there. It's out there as to who's going where. So we have what, 17 days left? Whoo, it's gonna be a long 17 days. Thank God Shedeur turned his phone off. We're gonna stay on top of it. We just gonna stay and just see, talk about what's going on. The beauty of it is if they keep using his name for clicks or playing racial politics or just being jealous and bitter, his phone is off, so he won't know about it. But we will, and we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna hold the haters accountable, regardless of why they're hating. All right. So it said, let Tennessee have Cam. I agree. I hope they get Cam, but Kiel said, the family is with you. Thank you, Kiel. Sweet Caroline, nice to see you in the house. Yes, Nia. Thank you so much, Nia. Kiel said, no, the Giants have nothing in common with the Titans. We got 4 Super Bowls. They have none. Oh, okay. Okay, Kiel, I'm gonna let you have it. It said, Nia, we want Shedeur to have a great O-line. Now we do. We do. And I heard Cleveland don't have one. I did hear that. So that's true. It was somebody, the Giants organization, who put that negativity on Shedeur. I'm telling you, the Giants trying to, they get ready to make an asinine move, bro. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I can't wait to see it. Because I'll be like, I told you. I said, I'm like, did I not say that? Did I not say they was going to make an asinine move? We're going to see, though. We're going to see. They better not draft Shedeur. They better not draft Shedeur because they just going to try to just put him. I mean, who you going to start? They just going to play games with these folks, and I don't like it. They too talented for all 3 of them to be on the same team. First, I thought Tennessee was good for Shedeur, but then Tennessee media might be hard on Shedeur. Yeah, D. Johnson. Prime players are always hated on. Now, that's fact, Saeed. And you know why they do that, right? Because they want to dissuade the elite players from going there. Because they want players like Juju to go, you don't want to go to Colorado because people going to hate on you all the time. They're going to snub you in the draft. You might not get invited to the combine. But see, we get the most confident players. We get the Caden Salters of the world. That's like, I don't give a damn about what you say. He has history. He played for Truth Academy. So did BJ Green. And by the way, there's only one coach out here putting out videos talking about the greatness of his players that are being drafted. Coach Prime did one already on BJ Green and was it Will Shepherd? Then he did another one with Travis. So he's putting out these clips. Talk what you know how coaches go to the scouts and the scouts ask questions. What do you think about this person, that person? Based on what he already told them. Now you add, he's putting out these 30-second, 45-second clips where he's talking about what makes these players great. I might actually let a few of them go and grab a few of them, and then we come back and talk about them. And somebody pointed out, what other coach is sitting down letting the world know why these young men should be drafted? Of course, they all talk to the scouts. That's why they didn't want Coach Prime to be in college football, because now they got to do it. And they don't want to do it. They just want to do the bare minimum and collect the check. Use these players like tools, like a labor force. And when they're done with them, that's it. Whereas Coach Prime cares about these players. I mean, hell, now that the season is over and we had the showcase, now everybody knows what was always true. Colorado had some talent on that football team last year. That became very apparent after the showcase. So we're going to make sure next year that they don't wait till the showcase after it's all said and done to give recruiting their props. Did y'all know that we have lost like a director of recruiting to Florida State? We lost another recruiter to Notre Dame, of all places. But then nobody talks about how talented the teams are, but our recruiters are being poached. Now, that's one hell of a strategy. Well, let's just take all his recruiters. But then you don't acknowledge that the team was talented until the season's over. So shout out to Coach Prime. If y'all haven't seen any of the videos, like I said, I'll try to get a few and put them together. I know I heard Travis's name. I know I heard BJ Green's name. He talked about how he said BJ Green is a dog. He came to play for me at Truth Academy when he was like 5 or 6. And then he moved to Atlanta and he played for Truth Academy in Atlanta. I was today years old when I found out that there was a Truth Academy in Atlanta. Did y'all know that? they had a football team just like they did in Dallas for the little kids in Atlanta? I had no idea. None. So while the media seems to be trying to target um Shedeur, I do believe that there's quite a few teams out there that respect Coach Prime. And I think when we saw him talking to certain teams, there were certain teams we didn't see him talking to. I think it's because they respect him. They see what he's putting together. And I still think CU, based on let's see who gets drafted. Let's see one who get drafted and who gets in the NFL, whether they get drafted or not. Who makes a 52 or 53-man roster. Let's see that. Let's see who makes the practice squad to see if CU is becoming a pipeline to Colorado. Let's see if any of our players go to the Giants after that whole negative smear campaign against Shedeur. Let's just see. That's one thing about it. We will see. We shall see. We shall see. So the Saints are ATL. Carolina, I think I like the Saints. I mean, I would definitely take Atlanta, but I mean, Michael Penix Jr. finally got the start. So I'm gonna go with the Saints. Oh, and that Saints Falcons rivalry this year will be everything. I will be in my glory trying to sit in the end zone, trying to cheer for Shedeur and for Michael Penix Jr. I'm gonna have to get one of those jerseys that's like split down the middle, or the front is the Saints and the back is the Falcons. I would do it. I would do it. I will be in my glory. I'm telling you. The Saints, I think, will really protect him. The city loves him. And the city of New Orleans is ready for Shedeur Sanders. You are so right, Jacqueline. I was reading the comments and I was just looking at different New Orleans platforms. And I was like, these people are for real. They want Shedeur to come there now. They like arguing amongst themselves and on threads saying, because people like, sit in Atlanta. They're like, nah, he coming to the Saints. So they ready. I don't know how the Saints organization could pass it up. They gonna have to cut ties with Derek Carr because the city's just, they tired of it. Here's the thing. I promise you, if they draft Shedeur, they gonna sell out that stadium every single game. And it's not just people from New Orleans. It's all of these surrounding states that don't have football teams. Like now Memphis, they probably go to Nashville, but Memphis not that far from New Orleans. It's not that far from New Orleans. They have ties and history together, just like Memphis and Atlanta. Interesting take. Saints or ATL. Yep. Giants is waiting on the Manning kid. That's what I said too. I said the Giants are waiting on Arch Manning in 2026. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that pick. But it still wouldn't surprise me. But, you know, I agree with that. I agree with that, Lisa. It said, I don't mind Shedeur dropping down because he will go to a team like Pittsburgh Steelers or the Saints. They will be like Washington going to the playoffs. I agree. And then I told y'all when we talked about Jaden Daniels, this one guy was saying Jaden wasn't going to be good last year. He was saying, and he cleaned it up because I think people kind of came for his throat. He said, no, what I was trying to say was only one of them are going to be good. Caleb or Jaden Daniels. He said, and what it depends on is the organization that they go to. In other words, if Jaden had gone to Chicago, he wouldn't have been good. And then if Caleb had gone to Washington, he would have been good. Do y'all believe that? Do y'all really believe that if Jaden Daniels had gone to Chicago, he wouldn't have been good? Because I do know that Chicago said they need to fix Caleb Williams. I don't know. He won the Heisman. I don't know why he need to be fixed. But when I heard his explanation after he tried to clean it up, I'm like, so he basically is saying that if the organization is terrible, the most elite quarterback can't do anything with it. And that's where the Giants come in at. That's why I don't want Shedeur to go to the Giants because they are like a Chicago. And I'm starting to wonder, even though Tennessee looks polished, if they kind of have some of those tendencies. Y'all know what tendencies I'm talking about. Nobody compares to Travis. I agree. So when I heard that about Kobe, I was like, shots fired. I was like, maybe they feel like, well, we've been talking about Shedeur too much. Let's go hate on Travis for a little bit. Maybe they're trying to shift the narrative away from Shedeur because they've been hating. Maybe they found out his phone is off and he ain't gonna hear it. We probably, and they get dragged in the comments by fans and people who like football who are now realizing that he's being targeted and people don't like it, so they're pushing back. And now that they seem to be pushing back, and now content creators with big pages are speaking out. Maybe they like, well, let's just go ahead on and shift to Travis. Let's just put some heat on him. We shall see where this goes with Kobe. I'm not saying Kobe's not good, but I do believe we know Travis was the best, the most dynamic player, wide receiver and corner in college football. I still say he should play wide receiver in the NFL. So Shedeur don't need to go to no team to warm their bench. I agree. That's what I don't want. I don't want that. You are so right. Oh, okay, conversations. Okay, it's the devil in people. It is, Lisa. It is. It really is. That jealousy is like a drug. It's just terrible. It said they have to bring down Shedeur to lift up Cam. Yes, I said that, and that makes absolutely no sense. Notice they only started praising Cam once they started slandering Shedeur. Right, and I pointed that out. I said, why do they feel like they have to? And that's why I said, okay, if y'all like Cam so much, why y'all just not talking about him? And why is it that you trying to pit him against Shedeur, and you can't pit them against each other. So what you're trying to do is show Cam's positives, and now you're trying to say that Shedeur is negative. Why are you not comparing Cam Ward to Jackson Dart? Or why are you not comparing Jalen Milroe? Why? You know how many quarterbacks it is in this draft class? It's at least 6 or 7. Going all the way to Will Howard, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart, and somebody else from either Indiana. Oh, Kyle McCord from Syracuse. That's 7. And that's 7. And I think Indiana's QB is in there too. That's 8. That's 8. And who did Ohio State play? Notre Dame. That's 9. Lincoln Riley, is that his name? Riley Lincoln. That's 9 QBs. And they only talk about one. They only disparage one. 1 out of 9. And he's a good character. And they say, oh, his name's bring clicks. Okay. Then find something positive to talk about. There's a lot of good out there when it comes to Shedeur. And when you try to pit him, it's against Cam. And some people gonna go, well, that's because Cam won and he's number 2. I'm like, is he number 2? Is Shedeur really number 2? Because let them tell it. He should be in the 2nd round. So go find 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 and come back and let's do a comparison. They're not gonna do it because it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. And that's where you come back to racial politics. It's like, really and truly, you feel like there can only be one good black quarterback in the draft. No. It's 3 that I know of. I say the top 3 are black. Shedeur, Cam, and Jalen Milroe. So never trusted the Giants for Shedeur. Yeah, I never really believed it. Good night, everybody. Crowley, thank you for hanging out. Thank you. I believe the Patriots might take Shedeur at 4. What? I don't know. They got Drake May. It said, what's the next best thing since Brady? Somebody Brady personally trained. Yeah, but I think they in love with Drake May. I don't know. Matter of fact, they had Joe Milton, who was QB2 after Drake May. And now Joe Milton, his contract was only $4 million, I think, for like the 4 years. And I know that Dallas just traded for him. And I was thinking Dallas really got a steal in getting Joe Milton's contract because it was only like $1 million plus a year. And now he's in Dallas. So I guess Joe Milton and the Dallas Cowboys and Dak gonna have to figure it out. And maybe he's there as insurance just in case Dak is injured next year. I'm assuming. But again, look at who's QB2 behind certain quarterbacks. We will talk about it. Believe me. Once the draft is over and all the trades are done, we will talk about it. Do we know who's going to Pittsburgh yet? I don't think so. So we're going to talk about that too. I didn't, and I've lived in Atlanta all my I've lived in Atlanta all my life and never knew anything about Truth Academy. Yeah, I think he was talking about the football program. I didn't know that either. BJ Green and Jimmy, I saw him today talking about, okay, that's who it was. Jimmy Horn Jr. and BJ Green. Okay, all right. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you for that, Lisa. Thank you. Thank you for that. People come up with their own scenarios. Facts. Cam and Shedeur are good friends. They both train together and will continue working out together. Oh, absolutely. I noticed. Thank you, Lisa. Have a good night. I noticed that Lewis Reddick made an about face once he, I guess, decided to be on ESPN more and more. At first, he was doing the comparison, and he was. It's funny. It's like It's not like he said things positive about Shedeur and Cam. It's like he was trying to do this. Cam is here and Shedeur is here. But it's funny how he was at the showcase and he was like, "Yep, Shedeur is the best quarterback in college football." He said it twice. Once after the showcase, but it could have been because Coach Prime was right there. But then he said it again when they were back at their network or whatever. I was like, "Isn't that funny how he just made that whole change?" So I'm praying that Cam goes number one pick. Simply, okay. Lisa, have a good night. Have a good night. I'm praying that Cam and he gets that bag. Oh yeah, he gonna get the bag for sure. It doesn't matter honestly if he went 1 or 3. It's not that much difference. It might be $4 million difference at the third pick for a QB. No, the Patriots. Okay, so I see 22. Okay, New England is going for defense. Yep, you're right. You're right. You're right. All right, y'all. This was excellent conversation to be continued. Kobe Bryant. Shots fired with Kobe Bryant being called the most dynamic cornerback in the NFL draft. What does that leave Travis Hunter? We will pick up on that conversation as things develop. Make sure you have your notifications on. We'll be back tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget the conversation continues on Threads at What She Said Sports. So you can just find it there and just jump in the conversation or repost the one that's out there and keep going from there. You can put a quote over it and start another thread. So it'll be awesome. All right, y'all, we're going to get out of here. We're going to say good night. This was exceptional engagement and conversation. I thank you all. There are 28 of us at the beginning of the week. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we'll be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. I'm going to play some music and give y'all a second to wrap up y'all's conversations. Y'all do really well with engagement. I appreciate it. Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah, welcome fam, it's a vibe. Break it down, talking sports, hard and hustle. Wear the crown, subscribe to the journey. Don't sleep on the grind. Hit the like button. Come on, don't be blind. Hit that.
Hey, I think I did good. I had 28 people on a Monday night. That is.
Together we both reaching higher and higher.
What, honey?
We got songs that have a misunderstanding and then like I might see somebody do something wrong. And later on I understood, like I talked to them and then they gave me an understanding that we're best friends.
Yeah.
And you got those that
Yeah, that's true. There are people out there like that.
What you said, let's meet where the passion begins. Hit that like, don't be stingy now. Join the movement, let's show them how.